I decided to become a volunteer because I wanted to get experience. I wanted to be able to increase my confidence. I wanted to be able to interact with family members. I first heard about POPs when I came to MMU and I saw the posters. And when I saw the posters, I thought it was quite interesting and I wanted to get more information about what POPs was about.
I came to a pro bono fair that was held at Manchester Met, and POPs had a lovely bright stand, and that's how I heard first about POPs.
At Manchester Met, early in the term, they set up an open afternoon for volunteers to come to. And POPs was one of the stands which had friendly volunteers behind. They had an easy to fill in form, which was fantastic. It wasn't too lengthy. It only took a couple of seconds to fill in. And after that, communications with the POPs team was fantastic. They gave us information on when we needed it. The training was fantastic. So the relationship between myself and POPs was perhaps the best that you could ask for. I did apply to other charities. They weren't as enthusiastic.
I decided I wanted to become a volunteer for a variety of reasons. The first one being that I want to go into criminal law, I want to be a barrister that has a criminal practice, and I wanted to be able to see the other side of it, so understand that you are actually dealing with real lives, you're dealing with real people, and that your work can have a detrimental or a positive effect on those people. And also as well, for the general CV point, that it is something that hopefully will set me aside from others when I approach my search for pupillage.
When I look at my CV, I've got other experience such as business, and I wanted to gain a lot more legal experience. Now, I thought that volunteering would probably be the best in to get that experience, because obviously it allows me to give something back and also get involved with charities and other areas of law which I wouldn't have necessarily got involved with if I'd done a mini pupillage per se. So volunteering was probably the best thing that I could have done. It also allows me to get the experience, but also keep myself focused and motivated to continue going forward in a law career.
How did you guys feel when you first went down to the court?
Yeah, anxious.
What was that?
Anxious.
Anxious, yeah. And what about sort of intimidated, perhaps? What about the location? So considering the location about when you're interacting with families.
The training I took part in for POPs was great. It was arranged around my schedule and it was flexible training. You could either do it over 3 days or in 1 day. It was really useful and went through every aspect of volunteering for POPs. There was different people that spoke to us from all different areas of the agency, so you got a massive overview of what the objective and aims of POPs actually was.
The training itself was actually really fun. It included PowerPoint presentations, information, and also a bit of role play, which was a little bit scary at first, but then as you got into it and you got more relaxed, you also made quite a few friends.
Please call 0808 808 2003.
It was very varied from what to expect from going into court to the layout of the court, which was great for people who hadn't necessarily been into court beforehand, the procedure and how to approach people.
The support you can offer them is face-to-face contact with someone that is genuinely there for them to help them, and they've got no ulterior motive. They're not after anything from the families. All we are there to do is to support families and to just give them, more than anything, emotional support, and also just try and simplify things for them.
Meeting such a variety of different people. I mean, I'm quite a sociable person, but my past has dictated that I've always been around people who aren't in a time of need, to put it that way. So this has enabled me to learn social skills and how to get people to come out of their shell and also offer support to them. So that kind of volunteering's been fantastic.
I'd say the thing that I enjoy about the volunteering at court would be seeing the actual effect that it has on people. You can see people coming into the courtroom and they are evidently quite nervous. Obviously it's unfamiliar surroundings for them, and just to see that they relax a little bit once you go up and you talk to them, that's really the positive effect that it can have.
for those who want to be that shoulder, you know, who want to be able to offer them that bit of reassurance, you can go that extra mile. And that's been something which I've been happy to do. Even if it's just been handing out a leaflet, knowing that they've then got that number to ring if they want, that can be reassuring. But also going away, finding out the information which they want, that's been quite rewarding as well, knowing that you've actually made a difference to someone. And also knowing when to stand back and not give them an information overload. That's been quite useful as well.
In terms of the support that I've been able to offer people, it varies. Some people evidently just, they don't want actual conversations at that point, but they will take leaflets, and then you know they'll go home in their own private time and look through the information and perhaps call a helpline. Other people do actually want to just be taken aside, have a little bit of quiet time with you, and sometimes vent the problems that they think happen in the courtroom, and they just want to get their opinion across because they've not been able to have their say.
I think the big difference that it makes is it means we can deal with more families. The fact is that the less people that we have in court, the less people that we can help, and the more people that we have, the more volunteers, the more families get the support that's required of them, because it is intimidating coming to a court. They don't know a lot about what's going on, they don't have an initial contact with anybody, and so if they can have somebody that they can come and they can ask what's going to happen and who will talk them through the court procedure, explain to them who is going to be in court, what they're going to do there, it makes them feel a lot more at ease, will make them feel more comfortable going into court, which makes the whole experience a lot simpler. And it's a simple case of the more volunteers, the more families we've got. We simply do not have enough volunteers even now to deal with the amount of families that we have. So the more volunteers we have, the more we can do. Number one, they'll gain a really in-depth understanding of the criminal justice system. I think one that you don't get from doing any type of studying. You'll see more sitting in a court and talking to families and talking to the solicitors. They do have interaction with the court clerks, with the people who run the court, and they will get to gain a first-hand knowledge of how a court setting is run, as well as the legal aspects from that. They'll also gain great personal skills. You know, it helps build their own confidence. We do expect them to approach families after they've had the training, to be able to talk to them, explain to them what's going on. So it'll build up their knowledge of the criminal justice system, build up their confidence and approachability with families and their personal skills, as well as helping them to kind of learn more about what happens within the courtroom setting. It does look very good on your CV. There's no denying that, and that's why a lot of volunteers work for us. I mean, a lot of them do care about why they're there, but also they want to show that they're willing to get involved in the work that they want to do in the future. So it is good for the CVs, there's no two ways about that. But it's also something that people enjoy doing. You know, it helps them to kind of familiarise themselves with work life and a professional setting, which is something that you can't overestimate, especially if you're going forward into working into the type of career that we ask people to volunteer in. Recently we've had a partner whose boyfriend has been involved in various quite serious crimes. Now the solicitor does spend a lot of time with the person that's involved with the crimes, talking them through it, and does get to an extent spend some time with the family, but not a massive amount. One of our volunteers, we were contacted by somebody who told us about this family. One of our volunteers met with them on the day, was able to walk them through what would happen at court, all the people that would be in the building and what their roles were, was able to discuss with them afterwards what had happened, and also take any concerns that they had to the staff of the court, which is quite an important role for the volunteers in the court, which allows the court staff to know any past habits or situations that the prisoner at the time might have had.
Volunteering at Pops has given me, you know, a wealth of experience and also skills in becoming much more confident in approaching people and being able to think on my feet and not being afraid to approach someone, even if you don't know the answer to a question they may have. Just feeling confident that you will be able, with the support of your team, to be able to get them that answer that they need.
I definitely know a lot more about the court process itself. It definitely helped me in definitely my criminal litigation exams. I understood the magistrate's court process from a practical point rather than just learning it from paper.
When volunteering for Pops, I work in court and help families, but probably one of the most challenging and rewarding things I've done is helping a family who had a relative that had safe custody issues. And, you know, I sort of went on quite a few weeks of keeping in contact with them and actually meeting them and the dates that their relative was reappearing in court, so it was kind of supporting them through the whole process.
I would recommend volunteering with POPs because it's a very good experience, especially when you want to go in a legal sector. It's quite good to be able to interact with people and know what real people actually need and what kind of support they need. So I would advise anybody, especially people that are going into maybe social work, legal sector, to definitely volunteer for POPs.
When I started my law degree, volunteering was something that was put to me and something that I did actually have in the back of my mind that I wanted to do. At MMU, they do facilitate volunteering, and the main reasons behind why I wanted to do it was, half really to get it on my CV and obviously enhance my employability. But also, being a student, it's nice to keep a toe in the actual real world. I think doing a degree, you can quite easily become isolated from actually what's going on in the real world. And volunteering, I think, as well as giving something back, it helps keep your toe and your eyes open to what is actually going on around you.
I definitely recommend volunteering to other people. It's not only a way of giving something back, which makes you kind of feel good in yourself, but also it helps you network with barristers, solicitors, other people who are doing the courses as well. It's good fun as well. You know, very rarely do you get home from court and go, oh, I've had an awful day. You know, you save that for when you're actually employed. But no, it's been great fun. And okay, there's been times where it's been stressful and challenging, but overall, it's been a fantastic experience.